Hi, I'm Lucas. My pronouns are he, they, and welcome to or back to my channel. Today we are going to rewrite and draw an old novel I wrote when I was 12. This novel is called The Boy and the Wolf. I'll read you the summary of the old novel while I draw the main characters in their first design. So for the first book, it's kind of like a reincarnation story, but not exactly. The main character had stage 4 lymphoma and is about to die. In his hospital bed, he's reflecting on his parents abandoning him when he got diagnosed and refusing to visit. They never accepted him for being gay, but his grandparents did, and they took him in. Before he, dies, his grandfather retells him his favorite story, The Boy and the Wolf, to the main character. The story never gets old to him, and after the story is finished, he slowly drifts into sleep as his family comforts him, and then he dies. He dies and goes into this grassy plains where he, like the one from his grandfather's story, he meets an angel and a demon. He tells them who he is and how he dies. We are happy to see him and for him to be here. Just like in his grandfather's story, a prince was cursed into a giant wolf and he is his soulmate and has to break the curse, and then he starts to forget his loved ones. Anyways, that was my quick summary because like all the novels I wrote when I was 12, they were only 1 to 2 pages long. So there isn't a lot. So for the rewrite, it felt like a reincarnation story, but I didn't want it to be exactly like that. In the first chapter or two, he's alive, but on death's door, and the relationships with his family stays relatively the same. His grandparents have custody of him after his parents abandoned him at the hospital when he got his diagnosis. His aunts and cousins are with him as well. The original story revolved around the story his grandfather told him, a story of a boy with a terminal illness who dies and goes to the afterlife, and is revealed that he is a soulmate of a prince who was turned into a wolf, and only he can break the curse. Which he kind of gets reincarnated too, but it's also the afterlife, In the new novel, the story is very similar. One main thing that is no longer taking place in this is heaven. And I'm just going to call it the afterlife. In the story, the afterlife has angel and devil-like beings that take care of the afterlife, while others take care of living beings, and they're basically like guardians. They do have gods, but they're referred to as like monarchy titles. The main love interest in the other character is the prince, and him and his family are the gods of the night. He is the moon prince. Unknown by everyone, he was cursed by one of the gods in the sun family, basically, one of the princes. I'm not sure if I want to keep him turning into a wolf. I might want to change it to an Ethiopian wolf or a painted dog for his cursed design. I haven't drawn that though, so sorry. One of the gods of the morning made it so for him to lift the curse, he must find true love. So when Nico goes into the afterlife, the guardians and the gods of love take him to a place where only the guardians are allowed in, as his existence might cause some chaos because they don't know who cursed who. Well, they don't know who cursed the prince. So keeping him in a safe place, it makes sense. Let's talk about our main character, Nico. To be honest, when I was drawing the first designs, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have a story idea, nothing. So I was basically going in blind, which is why I had to redo it. I don't know if the first design is still up or not. For the final design, I wanted him to have a lot of bright, happy colors to show off his bright, sweet personality. He has bright blue jeans, he has a multicolored sweater to match his cat, because the calico pattern. I gave him the exact same, I'm pretty sure, I gave him the exact same orange to match each other. For his hat and his sweater. I think the only thing that I struggled with his design was that his pose was pretty stiff, and his facial expression wasn't emoting enough, I think that's the only thing I struggled with, but Nico is the same. He was abandoned by his parents in a hospital and was taken in by his grandparents. But even in the afterlife, he doesn't have a single peaceful moment. He's stressed out. He's like, how am I going to lift this curse? Is it, cliche, we're going to fall in love, or do I have magical powers in those fantasy books? So that's the main thing that he's struggling with, And there was a lot of stuff that he was dealing with, parents abandoning you for being gay and dying sucks, and they genuinely didn't care for him like his grandparents did. So he's coping with that, losing his grandpa and everything and his family. just to go and then deal with all these gods causing problems. It's just like, I want to help this person. They're basically around my age, and I want to help them from this curse, because like, why would you curse some teenage god? Like, there's got to be some teen drama for that. But here he is in a little limbo area where the guardians are, as they try and make a plan, and he's just awkwardly sitting there with his cat that they gave him for emotional support. So, and then there's also the worry of pissing off the family of gods who cursed him in the first place, who refused to explain why. So, there's that. Now let me introduce you to the male lead of the story, Dakari, the Prince of Moons. So let's talk about his story and design. For this first design, I just made him a random angel prince, like in the first story. So, for the rewrite, I decided to add the gods in here, and his family are the gods of the night. He is cursed by the god of the sun, a god who he's rarely interacted with, and he has no idea what he did to like piss him off, basically. So he's confused. For the first design, I had no idea what I was doing, like I did with the last one, but I'm really happy with the second and final design, and you'll see why. I wanted a lot of moon motifs, like his crown is the phases of the moon and his earrings. I also gave him elf ears, because why not? I gave him this very long, flowy dress and this little small cape. For the dress, I didn't want it to be bland, like one solid color, so I made the dress start off as very dark blue to a light blue with star patterns and constellations throughout the dress. Though his cape is a little bit bland, so. I gave him a very poised pose and a bit closed off and stiff, to show off that he's kind of a closed-off, introverted person who likes to be by himself, and he doesn't really get to know people all that well. I think social events for Dakari would probably be, like, so dreadful, as he's very hard at reading people's emotions, how they're feeling, if he's being rude or not. He's not good at socializing and picking up social cues like everyone else, which has led to problems, but everyone's kind of used to it by now. He tends to try and make excuses, but sometimes his family will drag him along, because if they have to deal with this, so does he. So that's what he has to deal with. Though, I have this idea that he loves playing his instruments, his lyre and his ocarina, usually by himself. He doesn't really play for other people or in front of other people. I also decided not to put his locks in a bun like the first design. I just feel that it's right to be like long, flowy, like the rest of his design. So when Dakari is in his cursed form, whether it be an Ethiopian wolf or a painted dog, I think he'd struggle a lot, basically. Waking up sometimes in different places, not having full conscience of his body or full control. He doesn't know what he's doing this time, if he's embarrassing himself, if he's hurting people, And this is going to traumatize the ever-loving shit out of him. I think the curse is slowly going to, lift, basically. Like, when he meets Nico, slowly as he gets to know him, and they start liking, and then, liking each other, he gets to gain more control over his curse form before he can finally, after a very long time, shift back into his normal form, basically. And then that's gonna cause fuck ton of chaos between the gods. I'm not sure, but I think I want to go to the level of chaos in the Greek god mythologies, because that stuff's so funny to take inspiration of. Just the pettiest things they curse each other for. Absolute masterpiece. But if I'm being honest, this video is gonna be pretty short today, I think I need to still work on how I'm gonna schedule my videos. If I still want to do a video every month, I just might procrastinate more if I, make it every 2 or 3 months. Who knows? Procrastination is my mortal enemy. So, there's that. But basically, that's it for the design. There's not that much to story-wise, as I kind of wish I went in more detail, but I just wasn't sure what else to write for it. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video about me randomly deciding to rewrite this. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and please like and subscribe.